Shaka.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Sorry for the delay. I was down there having breakfast and trying to
That's
get my check and get up out of there.
that's okay. I went immediately. I went to your page. I said, I'm sure he had another interview or something today because you have been on the move.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
s- I saw the post from Morehouse. Was that last
yeah, that was
night?
yesterday. Yeah, that was yesterday afternoon.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was
That's
incredible.
dope. The energy has been great. So I'm
Yeah,
not going to take up too much of your time. I want to thank you so much, first and foremost, for just taking some time today to speak with me. I've been following your journey for quite a while,
yeah,
and, it's inspiring. I think that for me, of course, Miss Winfrey was kind of like the first person to kind of put writing, your wrongs, writing my wrongs out.
yeah.
And um, beyond that, though, I just continued to follow your journey. And when I came to California with my children, to see your exhibit in the museum was so dope. Like
Oh
that
yeah,
that was
yeah.
dope, Shaka. I was like, whoa. And for my son to see that, he's 19 now. And
Oh
so,
wow.
and then your relationship with your son, he's awesome. We got the hoodies, the affirmation hoodies when he put that out and
Oh, that's so great.
to
Y'all are the
see it.
best.
Yes, and to get to see you get married. I mean, I've just really been following your journey. And
Yeah,
this book, when it came out, I was just in shocked. I thought you had already done the thing. You know what I mean with books because I saw you put in some things out about a potential film and things like that, and I was trying to plug some people in that I thought were serious and may want to kind of look into what you were doing, and
yeah,
so I kind of thought, okay, Shaka's gonna kind of move into that direction. He's done the author, he's written, he's given us the what, the how, and he's gonna shift into movies. That's what I thought. So when this
yeah.
book
That's coming
hit, I was
soon.
like, more. I'm like, how do you get any better? And you did.
Wow.
I think that they're all different. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah,
I
yeah,
listened to your
yeah.
conversation with Jarrell. I just wanted to, Shaka, thank you and ask you, how do you feel in this moment with all the love that you are getting from everyone?
Yeah, I would say that, the way that I feel right now in this moment is just validated, like the validation of consistency,
Yes.
the validation of people really knowing that my intentions have been consistent and pure,
Yes.
in terms of like, how do I help people? And so to see that mirrored back where people are just really reaching out and saying how this book is really helping them navigate some of those hidden prisons in their own life. I mean, it's nothing more invaluable than that experience of like knowing that your life's work and your life's purpose is really connecting with people in a deep way. And I feel amazing. I mean, it's still the business and the work part of it, and the hustle and grind.
Right.
But the inner me feels I feel amazing.
Yes. And yes, you are definitely juggling things well because we know you're big on family
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
very authentic. I just love it. The book is 1000% authentic. And I think that, some people get nervous when they step into the world of publishing because there are going to be opinions of other people, right, involved in the
Absolutely.
process. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that because I was curious, in listening to it because I was like, do I order the hardback? Well, I'll wait till he comes to get the hardback and get him to sign, do all the things. But then
Yeah.
I'm like, I still want to listen, so it's just like hearing your voice and hearing it, I'm like, oh yeah, Shaka definitely protected his voice in this project. I feel it. And I love how you were explaining to Jarrell how like hip hop, inspired your some of your style of writing, the rhythm of word placement and things like that. Um, but I wanted to talk to you a little bit about from that. from the writing process, was there anything or recommendations that were made that maybe you didn't think about at first that you feel did add value to the book? Or did you come into it with one intention and one approach, and did it expand, did it grow, or did you come in knowing I want to provide a framework that the reader can follow for their own life, somewhat like a roadmap? What was your process with that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the things that I've done consistently is trusted my valued circle of people, right?
Yes.
So whenever I start with an idea, I know I can kind of be like crazy. I'm like, yo, this is my idea. I'm going with it, and I'm pretty consistent with like getting the idea out and executing at a really high level. But part of that is because I do have people that I really trust that I can say, read this chapter or, read this paragraph. What do you feel like this is going in a direction that I've shared, et cetera? And I take their notes into consideration, but ultimately at the end of the day, I have to decide what's best for the body of work because it's my name on it.
Yes.
But I'm very collaborative in how I think about any big project. And, this is no small undertaking. It's going in a very different direction than my other bodies of work. It's very informative, very instructive, and it's a true framework that I
Yes.
know that actually works, right? Like I'm not just selling people on something that I don't know works. Like I live it. So,
Yes.
but yeah, so for me, it was just like, I start with usually a small kind of pool of people who I'm like, yo, can you read this chapter? You got a minute to read a couple of chapters. And then once I get, far enough down where it's like, okay, I got a manuscript now. I just go to that group and just be like, yo, can you give me some feedback when time permits? And it's always good, it's good. I get good feedback from well-read people from different backgrounds. That's really important to me. Like I can't go to all of my business people. I want to go to, my brother who drives trucks. So I want to go to, a friend who may be trying to find employment. You know what I mean? So it's like you get a cross
Yes.
section of people and just to see if it's resonant. I don't really worry too much about structural changes or storylines because that's, when you're the creator, like the whole vision, the overarching themes. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, it's been very collaborative, and my trusted circle, they came through for me. Their feedback really matters, and that's really, really, really always helpful. And that includes literally
And
like my son, it includes my wife,
yes.
you know, different friends.
That's what I was going to ask you. You mentioned your son. It's so, for me, the book is so intergenerational. And that's what I
Mm,
love. Like, it resonates with different age groups. It's just for humanity, right? But as a mother with a 19-year-old son and a 16-year-old daughter, you also inspired me to go a little bit deeper with some of those conversations.
yeah,
Not make assumptions that presence, like we think we're present, or we think that we're providing a safe space, or you know what I'm saying? You just kind of opened my eyes up, and I love how you talked about at 16 that there was a point where you said it was several things that was adding pressure that led to a suicidal thoughts, but it was a combination of heaviness at that time in your life. And then you later, when we get into the forgiveness chapter, realize that, maybe I don't need forgiveness in this area, but the relationship that matters is the one with my mother. I just love how you took us inside your process, even from a teen to even the adult version of yourself that still um, had some questions, right? And I think it's hard for us to get back to the root sometimes.
yeah,
And I really love how you did that, and you expressed that the ability to hear your mom's story from her mouth, and it helped you answer questions on your own identity. Can we talk a little bit about that and the importance of identity as a person in general?
Yeah, no, I mean, when I was writing that part, it's always complex when you're going back and you're examining childhood and the pain that is there and all the things. I think I've been really fortunate to had a maturity of spirit to recognize that my parents were kids when they had us.
Yes.
My mom had her, she had my older brother when she was 16.
Okay.
Then she had the next two siblings is 17 and 18. And
Okay.
then, she met my dad when he was 21, fresh out of the Air Force.
Okay.
And she already had three children, and so being able to really go back
Yeah.
and one, just have an appreciation for my dad of like, man, you're 21, you're coming out of the military, and he was in the Air Force, and so back in that time, like the world was really his for the taking.
Yeah.
And he met this woman that he fell in love with, and he decided to take on the responsibility of helping her raise three children
Right.
before I was even born.
Yeah.
And so being able to go back and look at that was like, man, that was incredible. But
Yes.
then what I started with, which was really powerful for me, was that I asked my parents if I could interview them.
Yes.
And I told them, like, I was like, this interview is not about, accusing you or bringing out the bill. I just want to really know your story from your perspective.
Right.
And one of the questions I asked both of my parents was, what was their dream for me when I was born? And that
Yes.
really opened up the kind of floodgates for like real conversations. And then, with my mom, we went on this trip. And when we went on the trip, there was no agenda other than like, my wife was like, hey, we should just take our parents down to this place and,
Yeah.
hang out.
Right.
And we got there and I got a chance to spend like real time with her and really talk to her, really learn from her. And like that was powerful because she was like so open with her own
Yeah.
experience. And she got into like how she was abused and sexually assaulted and all these different assaults on her body. And I
Yeah.
was just like through that process, I was just like, it was impossible for her to be anything other than who she was as a mother to
Yes.
us. And
Yes.
like her willingness to open up, my willingness to be present has led to us being able to be on this healing journey. And it's not perfect. It's life, but for me, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Right.
And for her, it doesn't have to be perfect. And as long as it's real. And I mean, just the other day I was in Detroit. I took her. It was the first time that she really got a chance to spend a whole day with me in my work world.
Okay.
So I took her around. I had to go sign books at a few bookstores.
Yeah.
Then I had to teach my class at the University of Michigan. And so she rolled out the whole day, and she got a chance to see me teaching and she got a chance to see me
Yeah.
interacting with the public in a way that she, to really understand my work in the world, my impact in the world. And for her to just be present with that, like it was the best ever, it was the best.
I love it.
And so the reason I share that is like, oftentimes we're super judgmental of our parents without understanding their stories. And
Exactly.
I think you can have your feelings. I think you can be angry and upset and all the things. And people get to their forgiveness on their own timeline.
Yes.
But what I would say and what I would encourage people is like, if the opportunity is there for you to examine your parents' life through their experience, most of our parents have us when they're very young.
Yes.
I think that gives the opportunity to really heal some of those childhood pains. And it doesn't, like, you don't have to forgive anybody to heal. All I would say is, though, you got to let that shit go if you're
Yeah.
not trying to
Yeah.
be held back. You know what I mean? And so for me,
Exactly.
yeah, it was like, if me and my mother turn into the most amazing relationship in the world, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too.
Right.
But I'm not holding on to any of those past hurts. Um, that's
Yes.
gonna stop me from being fully present as a dad.
I love it so much because it's so relatable. I was listening to that part of the story and it sounded to me like, um, do you feel that you taking that journey with your mother?
Hmm.
and her being open to sharing her story. Do you feel like you were in a way guiding her out of some of her hidden prisons or no?
No, absolutely.
Because I went
So
through something like that with my mom. It's
yeah,
interesting. Like my mom thanked me for some of the hard conversations.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I think what happens, especially with parents, is as they when they get to a certain level and they reflect back, there's a lot of shame. There's a lot of
Yeah,
shame for how they showed up. And I
yeah,
think with my mother, that was the her experience. And so, we went on that journey and we just started really getting into these deep conversations. I would just say to her, like, listen, you did the best that you could with the experience, and
yes,
I could just see her softening.
yes,
And so like those conversations over time, now she's like my little baby, you know what I mean? Like, you know,
yeah,
um, and I can see her like looking to me with like, there's a thing. It's almost like, when the way that my son looks at me at times, I
yes,
can see like this sense of like admiration and awe.
yes,
Um, and it's powerful to witness that as a parent.
yes,
Especially when it's like unprompted. And
yes.
so with my mom, I can see her the way she looks at me, the way she's just like, I could tell that she's really like in awe, of like, man, this is her son that's like
Wow.
showing up as a grown man, and like
Yes.
that's the thing. Like my mom, I think, the only men who've ever protected her was my dad and her last husband. And so I feel like she feels that sense of like manly protection when she's in my presence, and not
Yes.
protection from like physical
A
anything
covering,
physically heavy.
like a covering.
Yeah,
A covering.
exactly. Like
Yes.
I got you.
Yes.
Um,
And it's with love. It's not
yeah, no,
what you did wrong, what you didn't do. It's your genuine appreciation for her. It's your love and
yeah, and it's
honor
this
for
presence.
her.
Yeah, it's this presence,
Yes.
right? It's like,
Yes.
so that's the power of like, I think the forgiveness and not everybody's going to get there with their parent. I mean, it's the toughest relationship
Right.
to heal. But it's
Yes.
just a path. It's the path I chose to go on. 'Cause I'm like, I can't, I can't say that I believe in, this big idea of, um, you're not your worst moment, and
Mhm.
people are redeemable if I'm not willing to create that space for others. And it doesn't mean that they have to be in your life. But
Right.
that's what I chose. My mother is, she's getting older, and I just want to make sure that she's good in her elder years, and that she's able to, not feel like um, she's forever defined by her past.
Yes. Right. And I love that. I feel like righting my wrongs seemed like more redemption, right? Was it the intention of that book is different than the intention of letters, which is different than the intention of how to be free. And you've evolved and embraced your organic journey. Right? How would you say the intention has shifted for you, Shaka, walking this journey?
Yeah, yeah. I think for me, I'm just at that stage of like, you know, I've accumulated a lot of life wisdom, from the
Yes.
streets. There's certain wisdom that came with coming from that environment, right? And some of it is
Yes.
useful. Some of it is useful in the world of business. Like,
Yes.
my ability, my marketing ability, like literally what you see with the rollout of the book, like that's from the streets, right? It's like I learned how
Yes.
to sell in the streets. In
Yes.
prison, there was so many life lessons I learned in prison, especially as I went on the healing part of my journey. Um, and so, that wisdom has so much real world application in the world of business. And then it's all the things that I've learned since I've been out of prison. It's
Mhm.
really seeing highly successful people that were trapped in these hidden prisons. And I was like, man, I can help these people. And I have helped these people. And if I can help these people, I can help a lot of people. Because I think we all experience these different versions of of these hidden prisons. And so, this book is about that accumulative wisdom in a deliverable fashion that's easy for people to access.
Yes.
I don't want to make it
Yes.
complicated. I don't want to
Right.
feel like, I got to read the whole Bible or the Quran or
Right.
Dhammapada in order to get my shit together.
Right.
Like, I want to be able to just, you know what I mean? Like, I want people to
Yes.
be able to open up any page at
It's
any time,
practical. Yeah.
practical, and
Yes.
see themselves in it. And, and it's fun, right? I'm actually reading. I got the Australian version right now.
Nice.
So I'm just reading through to see how that one flows compared to the U.S. version. And I was just going through some, and I was like, man, I put Illmatic in the movie Paid in Full in a self-help book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like nobody's doing that. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm doing it in a way where people are like, it doesn't matter if you come from the culture, you can relate to
Yes.
the classic that is Illmatic, right? And what that means in culture. I put Shawshank Redemption in there, like you can relate to that if you've seen that movie. You know what I mean? So
Right. Right.
I also had fun while I was writing it because I'm like, I had this diverse experience. I'm
Yes.
from the hood, but I also navigate corporate America. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So I just wanted to make sure that the wisdom, I wanted people to know where I extract wisdom from because I think that's something that gets lost a lot is people think, oh, you have to be like a scholar in order to get wisdom. And I'm like, no, you don't have to be a scholar. You just have to be observant. Wisdom is all around us. And that's why I use those pop references of like, I can look at the movie Paid in Full when, Money Making Mitch is like, yo, I just love to hustle. Because I know everybody who in Silicon
Yes.
Valley, they love to hustle. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's like,
Exactly.
that's universal wisdom.
And I
Uh,
want to ask you two questions, two questions, and then we'll play a game and we'll be done. Okay.
Sounds good.
I like to have fun too, but
Yeah,
I have two questions. One question, Shaka, when you think about, and this was a long time ago, but when you were in prison, because you touched on that a little bit just now, is there somebody, and I can't remember if you mentioned this in the book or not, but is there someone you still think about that did not get out? That you know how you're there, right? And I'm sure
yeah,
you built all these relationships. You're like, man, I'm sure there were several people you wish you could just like go and help get out, right? And have their freedom
yeah.
again. But is there a certain relationship or person that you were like, man, not that I would pray to come back to prison, but I know I was meant to meet this person, or is anything like that that you've experienced?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like some of my best friends are still in prison. One of my friends, Cornelius Brown,
Yeah.
he's literally like my brother. And he's still incarcerated. I've been working to figure out the right lawyer to help with the situation. And then I got another friend named Tommy Seymour who I grew up with on the next block from me when I
Yeah.
was kids, and we both had the same nickname. Both of our nickname was Pumpkin and Pumpkin.
Wow.
So that means we had to fight all the time.
Yeah.
We had these nicknames.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's serving life. So I got tons of friends that are like, brothers who I know that when they get out, they'll contribute so much to
Yes.
the world, and so it's just like it's sad because I can't just like go and see them. And
Right.
so I'm actually like I have a nephew. I got a nephew, a niece. I actually have two nephews who are incarcerated, and a niece. She's about to come home, and it's so hard because you can't just go and see them. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like if
Right.
I got to get on one of their visiting lists, and I'm actually going to try to get because my one nephew he has the most time, so I'm gonna try to get on his visiting list to see if they'll let me come see him. But it's hard because I have a prior felony and they don't see him as my immediate family, it's hard for them to approve me. You know what I mean? So,
Yes.
stuff like that that's difficult. But, I try to talk to them when I can, and take their calls and, write them, so they know that they're not forgotten about.
Yes, and I understand, and we never know what seeds people are planting in us. And we're crossing paths with these people. They become a part of us, even a part of this project. You
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying? And so I just love that your heart, you give homage, the wisdom you share your mistakes, you share, and you touched on so many different emotions in this book. I mean, going
Yeah.
from grief and anger and shame and forgiveness and vulnerability and hope. We don't love joy. You really don't hear that a lot, especially from Black men, because being vulnerable, being expressive, sharing stories, a lot of times we hear that that's just not the thing or what was modeled for most people.
Right.
What is your advice? Because you've been touching so many people in the community. I'm sure young men specifically come up to you and just thank you. What is your advice for a young man that maybe hasn't read the book? So we know he needs to get the book, read the book. But if he's in that space of just like, I've done so much, I've lost hope. Like, can I really have another life? I'm watching you, and you're like, you were in prison for 19 years. You've experienced all these things, and you had lost hope at one point. What's your message for that young man who may hear the interview and he's just really not feeling supported, and he just can't see years ahead. It just doesn't even make sense that his life could look different.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my message is don't give up, get up. You know what I mean? And
Oh
like,
yeah.
you gotta get up, and you gotta take the you gotta take control of your life just one step at a time. You don't gotta try to do it all at once. You just gotta get through the moment you're in. And like that to me is like how I was able to do it. Is it was just like one moment at a time. I didn't have to conquer the whole thing. I didn't have to figure out how to heal everything at once. I just had to get up and like literally take one step toward healing.
Yes.
And then really understanding that is ultimately on you. There's a thing in our culture where we kind of want somebody else to fix our shit,
Yeah.
and it's almost like a sense of entitlement or
Yeah.
excuse making centered around where did nobody have my back. Like,
Right.
you have to have your own back. Like the,
Yes.
the chapter on love is really about that. It's like, yes,
Yes.
I got a wife and yes, I have a kid, but ultimately, love had to start with me. You know what I mean? And like,
Yes.
even when I dedicated the book, I was like, this one is actually for me. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, because
Yes.
we prioritize other people's importance in our life, and we don't prioritize our own importance. And there's no more important relationship you'll have with anybody in the world than a relationship you have with yourself. And so
Yes.
work on that part by, not giving up, but getting up and doing one thing that can move you one step closer, and that's for young women as well. Like, it's not, it's kind of like, it's this weird thing with, like, when you're a black male and people are like, these young brothers really need your guy. And I'm like, yeah, until you meet some of these young sisters that I meet, that's in
Yeah.
detention centers, that's in juveniles, that's in jail,
Yeah.
you realize they're living the same lifestyle.
Yes. Yes.
And so it's, these young sisters, it's the same thing. Like, you can't look for your identity in a man, you know what I'm saying, or a mate.
Right. Right.
You have to be that for yourself. You have to show up for yourself first. And then, what you're looking to attract into your life, success, wealth, love, whatever it is, like, that stuff starts to show up when you start to show up for yourself. And like, that's always my biggest lesson of all of this stuff is like, you have to build the keys to open those hidden prisons and let yourself out. You know what I mean? Because
Man, that's so powerful,
yeah,
Shaka. I'm serious. Like,
yeah,
It just makes me emotional when I just think about that because to me, it goes to kingdom discipleship. When you think about our life is a journey, and we are here to serve as well, but that inner process and what you're talking about, self-love, self-actualization, self-awareness, right? Holding ourselves accountable, choosing the life that we want, earning it, not being the victim, right? It's all of these things. It's so much. But then to get to that point and say, I'm going to really put 1000% into another project that's going to provide the roadmap that I really live to help someone else, to help
Yeah,
somebody else have a roadmap that we weren't given by anyone, right? To choose to do that with your time in life, I love that because it speaks to your heart. And anybody who listens to you knows you're authentic. You're not going to do anything just to do it. There's a million ways to go make money. There's a million ways to go, have it's not about that, right? And so
yeah,
to say, this is what alignment looks like, this is what it feels like, this is how I'm going to choose to serve because I've gone through this process and still going through the process, right? You continue to say you're still learning, you're growing, you're not perfect, right? And so I respect that a lot. And as I just want to thank you. And as we wrap up with our game, because I
yeah,
want to stick to the time you agreed to, I know you have a busy
yeah.
schedule. Here are the rules, okay?
Hmm.
It's real simple. I'm going to say a word, and then you say the first word that comes to your mind. You cannot overthink this,
All right,
okay?
sounds good. Hmm.
All right. So the first word is prison.
Freedom,
Seku,
love,
your wife,
joy,
your mom,
sacrifice,
your dad,
dedication.
Oprah.
Let me see. That's a funny one. Dream,
What?
dream,
Author,
dope,
community,
everything,
forgiveness,
guilt,
family,
center,
history,
lies,
favorite food,
steak,
favorite pastime,
music,
hot or cold,
hot,
sweet or sour,
sweet,
beach or mountains,
mm, beach,
how to be free.
bestseller.
Thank you so much, Shaka. I have enjoyed chatting with you. Thank you for your time. I hope everybody goes out, gets a copy, listens to it on Audible. It has several
Right.
different languages. Are all the languages done, Shaka, or is that in process right now?
Spanish comes out in November, and
Okay.
then Australian just has a different format. It's English, but it's formatted a little bit differently.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to go over. I'll see you tonight.
All right.
And
Cool.
thank you so much for your time. Okay.
All right. Thanks so much.
Alrighty. Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye.